Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, can you just introduce yourself?
Hello. I'm not sure an introduction would be appropriate here since we're
Yeah,
anonymous.
it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. Just general introduction so that I can know about you.
Sure. So I've been working professionally as a software engineer for past 5 years, and I'm mostly working in like Python and JavaScript. But for this like problem solving, I generally prefer to use C++ because like it's a lot. C++ has more libraries and it's a little easier to write like problem solving code here.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So I'm very junior to you, sir. I'm just a freshie. So myself, Devendra Upadhyay, and I'm also working as a software developer, but I'm a fresher. So I'm very junior to you.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters here, but it's nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
nice to meet you too. If you're comfortable, you can switch on your camera so that I can see you also. It's
Yes,
okay.
unfortunately, I'm on a desktop, so I don't
Okay,
really have a
okay,
camera.
it's okay.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm going first.
Yeah, yeah,
So like, should I get started?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Right. So it looks like the problem says validate IP address. Validate an IP address. An address is valid if and only if it is in the form x.x, where x is a number from 0 to 225, for example, 12, 34, 5, 6, so on. Valid IP addresses, while some examples are not. Okay. Problem seems clear enough. I guess a few questions I'd have is that can we, as an input, like receive, like, is there a limit to the length? Like how long the string can be?
Yeah, yeah. Hello.
Yes. Do you know how long the string can be?
So I guess there is no limit. So they
Uh,
have a specific pattern that should follow. Then we have to return true. Then
Got it. Okay. I guess what I would do is basically, given an input such as this, I would split the string into an array of strings. So I guess this would be split into 12, 34, 5, and 6. And then I would just check if each string, or in this case, I guess, try to split it into numbers. It could be not a number. So I'll split them into a list of strings, and I'll check if each string is a value from 0 to 225. Also, I'll make sure that, for example, like this one, I think has more than 5 parts. So, for example, for this input, the split would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So
mm,
I'd first check if the length of the parts, like if there are 4 parts, and then check if each of the parts is a number between 0 and 225.
yeah,
Does that sound good?
yeah, yeah. That sounds good.
Yes. If
So where are you from, sir? You're from India, or?
yes, I am in West Bengal.
Oh, that's great.
Um, I think my accent actually, like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
yeah.
That's why I got confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Bangalore, actually.
Actually, like not too far in that case.
Yeah. So where you are working there in West Bengal, or?
Yes, I am mostly in a remote company right now. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to change to like, probably like different company. That's why I'm like practicing and brushing up.
Yeah, same here, sir. Like I'm also looking for a change. Yeah,
Well, hopefully, like we both do well.
yeah, yeah. So is there any opportunity like in your company? Good
Uh,
opportunity.
I would not recommend it. That's the reason I'm changing myself.
Yeah. Like now, right now, I don't have like a good package. So
Uh, well, I think it's a lot of people work remotely. Maybe like if you're working in a local company, a remote company would be great.
yeah,
Uh, but if you want, you can work. I like so the company I work for is at Zimic. If you want, you can try. We do recruit. I don't think we're recruiting right now, but if you want, you can apply. I wouldn't recommend it, but we do take a lot of people. Like we have a lot of people from I'm not sure which parts, but plenty of people from South Asia, including like India.
okay, okay. So like what the tech stack they use?
The tech stack,
Python.
yes, Python and JavaScript, and also we have like some projects in Ruby. So
Okay.
these three mostly.
So currently they are not hiring.
As far as I know, we're not.
Okay. What the company? I will check and I will send you the connection linked on LinkedIn. So if
Yeah,
there,
of course. After the interview ends, we have like a button
yeah,
to connect. We can connect and then
yeah, yeah, sure.
connect from there.
Yeah,
So should I move on with the
yeah,
problem?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So if my solution makes sense, I can start writing the code for this. So the first thing is splitting the string into different parts based on the dot. Unfortunately, C++ does not have a split function, so I'll just write one myself. Add like a buffer, and then for I guess of IP, if the ch is a dot, then I will let me create a different vector of strings are the parts. So if the ch is a dot, I will do parts dot push buffer, and then clear the buffer, and else I'll just buff dot push back the vector. And finally, at the end, I'll just check if buff dot empty, not buff dot empty, then just parts dot push back buff again. Oh, I should do a check here as well. So what I'm essentially doing is a split function. You can actually move this into a different function. So like a string, so vector of strings from a split, not just a string. So return parts, and oh sorry, string s and string or char till lim. So the first thing I'm doing is just creating a vector of parts by splitting the IP by dot. So this is the first part that I was talking about here. I've written a small function that goes through each character, checks if it matches the dot. If it is, I'll push it into the buffer. Otherwise, I'll so we don't need this. Otherwise, I'll just add that character to the current buffer, and then finally I check if the buffer isn't empty. Then I just push. So then I return the parts, so the list parts that I've made. So it should split the string 1, 2, 4, 5 into like separate strings. Right. Now for each part, I need to just make sure that is a valid number. So let's do a for w of parts. So for each, this I think B makes more sense. If not valid B, then return false. Otherwise, return true. So over here, after splitting in different parts, the first thing I should check is that if parts of size not equal to 4, then return false. Okay, so if I don't have exactly 4 parts, then it's not a valid IP.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm looping through the parts, and I'll create a different function, valid, or it's valid, a little better. And if any of the part is not valid, I'll return false. Otherwise, if everything looks good, I'll return true. And the next part is just writing the valid function. So I'll just write that here. So it's bool is valid. So it receives a string s, returns a boolean whether it's valid or not. So the first thing I have to check is if all of the characters are digits. So for example, in this case, for this input, oops is not a digit. So I have to first make sure that all of the characters. So for auto ch of s, if not is, let me just take this 0 is equal to ch, and ch plus equal to 9, then return false. If not this, I can just do this. Ch is less greater than, yeah, okay, let's not this. It looks a little easier if I just not this instead of changing the condition. So if it's not in range, so if it's not a digit, then return false. Okay, and the next thing is checking if it's a valid number. So integer num 0, and then same idea here. Actually, I think I can just do it in one loop. Yeah, probably don't need 2 loops for this. So if it's not valid, return otherwise 90d is ch minus o. So just convert the character into a digit, and then we do num into 10 and add the digit. So we're basically just moving the number 1, like we're multiplying it by 10 and then adding the digit at the end. Finally, we just need to return if 0 less or equal to num, and then num less or equal to 35. So is valid does 2 things. Firstly, it converts the string to a number. It loops through all of the characters in the string. If any of the characters is not a digit, it returns false immediately. Otherwise, it converts the character to a digit, adds it to the number, and then finally at the end, we're checking if the number is within like 0 and 225. Does that look good?
Yeah.
So do you want me to run this code and see if the test cases pass?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right. So just run the code here. Oh, there are some errors, probably some compiler errors.
In main, you have to write like sample case, one sample case.
So sorry, I didn't understand.
In main function, here you have to write one sample case to get the output.
Right. Okay. So I'll just write a sample case. So let me just do printf is valid, or let me do bool if is valid. Let's say let's take this input. Printf is valid, or else printf not valid. New line here, and a new line here as well. And I think I have some imports that I have to do. Include, sorry, why is it import? Vector. It should include. Not sure if it's a new C++ thing. I'll change it to include. So I'll run it again. Hopefully it passes this time. Yes, it did. Okay, so the last thing, this should be s, and no matching call to function split. And we have a function. Oh, this should be a character, not a string. Okay. Okay, let me run the code now. And it looks like it compiled. So it did say it's not valid, which is not right. It should be valid. Let's check again. Okay, so over here, I'll splitting the characters, and then if one of the character is not valid, then return false. Otherwise, return true. Okay, this looks good. The split functions have a parts. If it's not empty, I push the part, and I clear the buffer. Otherwise, I push the buffer. If it's not empty, I push here. This looks good. Well, if it's not a digit, it's not less than 0, and I return false. Otherwise, I do that, and okay, so I'll just put in a printf here just to see what the parts are. Parts size not 4, return false. Okay, let's print the parts here to see like what the parts are. Auto p of parts, printf percentage yes, and b.c string. Okay, run the code again, see what I get. Oh, it didn't actually even. Oh, actually, it gave is valid. That's why. That's my mistake. It should be validate IP. Oh, it's valid now. Yes, and the parts look good. Should I run it against the tests?
No, it's okay. Like now.
Yeah. So does this look good, or do you have anything that you'd like me to change, or
No,
any other
like
cases?
can you tell me the complexity of this?
Complexity. So I'm running through. So initially, I'm splitting the characters. So in order to split it, I have to run through all of the characters in the string. So that's an order of n loop, and then I run through all of the parts again. So the number of parts is also like less than n, but like it's still going to be like some multiple of order of n. So the overall complexity would the time complexity would be order of n, and I'm taking
Same.
an x yes space complexity. Since I'm taking an extra vector, I have to store that vector. So the space complexity is order of n as well. I could reduce this by if I just stopped as soon as I got 4, I could probably reduce it to just a constant space complexity.
Okay. Can you optimize it? Like, is it possible to optimize?
Yes, so I have a separate split function here. What I could do is if I put this here, so instead of parts like this, and I can do a small optimization here, which is if parts.size is greater than 4, then immediately return false. Same thing, that check is already there. So parts.size greater than 4, not equal to 4. Yes. So this way, I'm never taking more than 4 parts. So as soon as I get 4 parts, I'll stop. And I can also optimize it a bit more. Right now, I'm creating a buffer, and then I'm also pushing the buffer. What I can do is I can check if it's valid immediately. So over here, I can do like immediate validation. So just check if buffer is valid and then clear it. So I don't even need this parts anymore. Let's keep a count 20 part count equal to 0. So no need to do, so this to part count equals to 1. If not buff.empty, plus equals to 1 over here. Same thing here. Part count not equal to 4. The, so I removed the extra parts variable, but the code is a lot harder to understand now. Ideally, if this wasn't very performance critical code, I prefer the first one, but this one is definitely like going to take a lot of space and time as well because I don't really need to create a new parts variable, store that, and things like that. I can return immediately.
Like it is like good practice to like, optimize rather than like understandable code, I
Yes.
guess.
Initially, like when I was solving the problem, I was trying to think and write at the same time. But now that like I have a solution in mind, it's easier to just go, oh, I can remove
But
this
you
now.
have like good command over programming, like you code really fast and you have good knowledge of it.
Thank you. Hopefully, like the actual interviewer also thinks the same thing.
Yeah, you will get, you will get. So which company you are targeting for now? Now you have.
Um, right now, I don't really have a fixed target. Most companies are doing layoffs right now, so I'm just getting practicing right now, and hopefully, once like, the conditions are a little better, we'll start flying. Do you have any targets?
Like I and for now just like uh, startups only because I'm fresher, so I want to learn new things, and that I can learn only in startup because in MNC they don't have projects now, so you have to sit there, you have to sit on bench, and yeah, that's why
Are,
I want startup where I can get projects to do and get the things to learn.
are you targeting mostly like local companies or remote and local?
Remote and local as well, like, which are in Bangalore, and remote companies also. So
Yeah,
which are
being in Bengal, there are very few local companies here, so I'm like mostly targeting like remote.
okay, okay. So you don't want to move out of Bangalore?
No, it's mostly like staying with family, so not really like have a
Okay.
chance.
That's great.
All right, do you have any other feedback for me?
No, like it's the code is pretty optimized now. Can you run it once again to check whether it is giving the proper output or not?
Yeah, I have one mistake here. I just noticed while I was talking. Everything else should be good. It's valid function. Or let's see. Let's see if it compiles. And oh, there is a mistake here. Yes, the limit does not exist. So this should be changed to dot. And anything else? Control which is a void function. I have a non-matching trace somewhere. So this one matches here. This one matches here. This one matches here. And this one matches if for. Okay, let's run it again. And for auto sketch. So I have an extra brace somewhere. So the problem with writing code like this, it's very easy to end up in a place where you miss something not empty. Okay, this looks good. Buff.clear, else, and then if part count greater than 4 also looks good. So if ch here over here. This one doesn't have a matching closing tag. So this if matches here, this else matches here. It actually looks okay. I'm not sure where the error is. For auto ch, characters, identifier s, oh, should be IP, and for false. Sorry, this time should work. And part count, so it should be part count equal to 4. It's opposite because we changed the condition, and yes, it does say it's valid. Yeah, it looks like it's like
Yeah, yeah.
machine again.
So just a heads up, I don't code like you. Like you are really good. So maybe I
Uh,
cannot do it, but
and
still I will try.
yeah, I don't think we like hopefully like it's not going to be a problem. I'm also not very good. I haven't written C++ in many years, so just for interviews I'm like brushing up again.
Okay, okay.
Right, so should we swap roles?